Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole bringing you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time you are watching this live. Hello, crew. Hope all is well. So, this just is a never ending cycle. The rabbit hole goes deep. Everyone is talking about this Diddy situation, including people who maybe shouldn't talk about this Diddy situation. So, hey, Shayla. So, today, well, let's check it back to last week when this video came out. Last week, when the video came out of Diddy actually attacking Cassie, DVing Cassie. Apparently, when it came out, Joe Budden, his podcast, they were actually filming when the news broke. And apparently, they addressed it and they moved on from it. But someone from the show told Joe, you may want to readdress this. You may want to readdress this because they're coming to your podcast. People always want to hear our point of view from this podcast. And it wasn't really in detail what we thought, I guess, and pretty much said you need to redo it. He kept saying why we addressed it. Let's move on. But I guess because of that, he decided to delete what was said in the actual podcast last week about it and decided to address it this week. Now, people were in an uproar because they were like, you are Joe Budden. You have one of the biggest podcasts out there. You definitely need to address this, especially when, if I'm not mistaken, Joe Budden at one point actually had some type of deal. I don't know if he still does, but he had some type of deal with Revolt TV, which is allegedly Diddy's network. So at that point, he said he was going to discuss it, and he was going to discuss it further this week on his podcast. So I'm actually going to play it fair use. I'm not going to play the video. I'm just going to play the audio on what he said. Okay, so fair use, YouTube, fair use, and let's go.
State of the culture job. Me and Puff had like a heart to heart where he looked me in my eyes and said, yo, I heard a lot of stories about you. And
Can you guys hear it? Let me know if you can hear it. Give me a thumbs up or something if you can hear it, because I want to make sure you guys can hear it very clear. Thumbs up if you can hear what Joe Budden, or you can hear his voice. Shayla, are you there? Let me know if you heard it. Hey, Yuli, let me know if you guys can hear this.
that you are a lunatic. And here,
Thank you.
Appreciate the creative part of being a lunatic. So if you want to create in that fashion, you can. All I'm telling you is don't throw anything and don't hit anybody, and you'll be fine. And boy, I felt so at home hearing that. But also in hearing that, it led me to believe that he understood the importance of not hitting people. Because that's important as you run in a business and build a business. We're starting with the news that CNN broke last week, where they obtained hotel footage of Puff violently, graphically stalking and attacking Cassie. If that other angle come out, maybe kidnapping as well. But when it turned the corner, we don't get to see. But you ran a long way down that hallway, and if you dragged her even 4 more feet, we now include kidnapping. That shit was disgusting. What we all had to witness. That shit was almost unbearable to watch. I'm certain that was triggering for a lot of people. Absolutely. A lot of people that saw it. And that was Friday. Yes. Mm-hmm. I assumed that he would go and just hide somewhere. But why would you do that when you are just a glutton for attention? So he pops right back out. Talk about tone deaf. Talk about inability to read a room. Where are the fucking publicists? Where's anybody in this moment? But he pops back out with this half-hearted bullshit apology that was like, it's almost offensive. It was like a slap in the face, that apology.
I didn't even watch it. I don't need to hear from him.
I mean, I watched it because it was quick. It wasn't even, he didn't even try to put some sincerity into this thing. Friday, everybody here was in a good mood, good vibes. And it was our Friday weekend episode. We normally try to keep things, I prefer to try to keep things light for the weekend episodes. And that CNN Puff story broke as we were recording.
Literally. Mm-hmm.
And while we did touch on it, when I listened back, I didn't feel like enough time was devoted to just how much of a fucking lunatic that nigga looked like and what that means industry-wide for all parties.
Interesting. He said he looks like a lunatic. So this is where we're going with this. And for those, I think, who was saying that Joe Budden looks good, Joe Budden is a handsome guy. That like at the end of the day, he is a handsome guy, but looks and inner beauty and inner like at the end of the day, like we always say, beauty is only skin deep. So let's continue. But he definitely is not an ugly guy at all.
Involved. I think this broadcast is too big and comes with a great responsibility in matters like this. And I know that a lot of the music industry listens to this podcast. And I don't think this is the last of it, nor do I think that he is the only one. So at any point, we want to start having some uncomfortable conversations. Not only am I down for it, but I'm down to initiate it. Because this...
He just said he doesn't think it's going to be the only one. Is he talking about video, or is he talking about people actually being exposed? Because it seems to me, sir, you're being exposed all over again. But let's continue.
Mess out here. And he looks like a fucking nut. He looks like a complete
monster.
Just a complete evil piece of shit. What I saw on that video, as horrific as it was, lends a lot of credence to anything horrific I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's the uncomfortable spot. Well, it's all uncomfortable, let me be clear. Mm-hmm. But maybe he was unaware of some of the things that were out there about him, that real niggas is just running around saying, nah, shit sounds so crazy. When you hear about people blowing up cars, it sounds like some movie shit. Mm-hmm. I need footage. I need something. When you start hearing about some of the other things we've heard about, I think that video allows for everything to be back on the table. Mm-hmm. Anything that we've ever heard about Kim Porter, may she rest in peace, is back on the table. The rumors about Al B. Shore are back on the table. All of the violent stories that niggas refuse to believe because of who he is and what he has meant to the culture. After seeing that, after seeing him run down that long hallway in a towel, I've dissected that video plenty. And this is coming from somebody.
Well, look, Joe, it looks like your own DV allegations are also back on the table. Here's the thing, what he said wasn't wrong. Okay? What he said was not wrong. Everything he said in that part was absolutely things that I think all of us, or the ones who are human, all of us agree with about what we saw when it came to that video. The problem is that video was triggering not only to people who have been in these situations before, or people who know people have been in situations before, but also it triggered Joe Budden's former girlfriends and even former friends. So everyone was posting what Joe Budden had to say in regards to the video that, exposed Diddy. And because of the fact that he deleted it, there was controversy. Everyone was posting what he said, including the Shade Room. Okay. So the Shade Room posted what Joe Budden said. And Tahiri decides to get into the comment section and pretty much says, F out of here. Who? The irony. This is so triggering. I remember Joey throwing me down a flight of stairs, taking her back to the house. And you know what? Taking her back to the house, pretty much forcing her back to the house. And me having to talk him into letting me go. Okay, so that's what's the first thing she says. She said, this whole shit took me out. So hard to watch. So sorry for Cassie and every woman who's currently going through it or has ever gone through it. It's tough. All right. So that's what she says. And this causes drama. Hey, Jay. And I'm sorry. Hey, Andover. How are you? So at that point, Joe Budden responds and says to the real Tahiri, you are a lying, failed gold digger that was used, y'all know what I'm trying to say, targeted and manipulated many men. Oh, that he's trying to say that she is an abuser. Sorry, you guys. He's trying to say she's an abuser. That has targeted and manipulated many men. Outside of me, you lack an identity, which is why you tried desperately to attach yourself to me for over 15 years. Okay? So that's what he says. All right. So at that point, he recalled 2 times he's seen her in the last 2 years where she appeared fine with him. Joe also says that he was on his body during their last love and hip hop stint and tried her best to disrespect his son's mother. I had to ask producers to keep you away from us like the cancer you are. This is still Joe talking. Yet you continue to slight my name online because it's your identity. I don't speak to you or about you because it's low vibrational. You're a low level con woman. I'm going to skip one word. Con woman that's been lying you already know for ages. I pray you heal and move on one day. Hopefully this is our last exchange. Prayers to all the victims. So at that point, Tahiri says, you can say whatever you want about me. Those that know me know I'm not scared of you anymore. You can keep bullying, intimidating the rest. Those that know you and are around you also know the truth. Sad that they continue to enable your behavior. Your time is coming. So after Tahiri says this and their exchange back and forth, oh, baby. One thing, when Joe Budden was talking on his podcast, while everything he said was correct, I started to play back the accusations in my head. Because remember, when he was on Love and Hip Hop, this is not the first time Tahiri has claimed these things about Joe. We also have other people who have claimed things about Joe too. Hey, Belle. For example, remember Rocky Thunder from Love and Hip Hop? I loved Rocky. I feel like she didn't get a fair break, she should have definitely had a couple more seasons under her belt. But with that being said, she decided to post. She names off all the women that allegedly have accused Joe Budden of DV, from Tahiri to Sin, to Kaylin, to Yaris, I don't know who that is, to Sharina, to Adele, to Esther, etc. Hold your head up, speak your truth if and when you ever feel like it. And so what she says in this situation, she says that, I don't know if you guys watch Love and Hip Hop. Maybe you did. Love and Hip Hop, when Joe Budden and Tahiri first came on the scene, there was a scene where Rocky, Tahiri, and Joe and Maul was at Joe's house, or his rented house, for the show. And pretty much they were playing Truth or Truths or Truth or Dare or something like that. And Rocky was having an issue with Tahiri. They started throwing stuff at each other. Next thing you know, the camera cuts and you see Rocky even getting more upset. And she's like, you say the bullshit. You say the bullshit. Like, she was going off. And I thought she was going off because Tahiri had tried her. Well, according to this, she is saying that we can start by admitting that the storyline made up by the three of us, and it meant to go smooth. So she's pretty much saying that that storyline, that drama, she's saying that that was made up. And she said, but the camera lights got too hot, egos flared, and pretty much Judases were in the building at that point. She said specifically mine. I'm not going to read exactly what she said verbatim. Y'all can read it yourselves. Specifically mine, but I'm an emotionally intelligent woman and can understand why a dog eats dog in that environment, especially when checks are involved. So she said, but at this big age, let's stand on truth. We were never the ones at odds, truthfully. She's talking about her and Tahiri. Oftentimes, women unfortunately fell victim to playing the effed up hand they're dealt in order to keep their lights on. The illusion of support for your duplicity and silence equates the patriarchy behind one hell of a drug. Okay. So she claims that what happened when the cameras cut is that allegedly Joe grabbed her by the neck, and this is trigger warning, grabbed her by the neck, dragged her out. He pretty much got very physical with her. And at that point, all bets were off with her. Because I don't know if you guys remember the show, and she was saying there were people out there who wanted to put hands on him the way that he treated her. And not to mention the first time she saw him after that allegedly happened. I don't know if you guys remember that scene when it looks like Joe was in some type of club getting ready for a performance. He snapped on that girl. He snapped on her in that actual club or wherever they were at. You could tell that he definitely, the lights weren't on, so to speak. And I think even in that season, he admitted that he relapsed. So with that, that's when Rocky said, so pretty much it was supposed to be something planned to get the controversy going, and it ended up going left with Joe taking it physical and taking it to another level, allegedly. So she talks about that in her situation. She ends up defending Tahiri. Mind you, apparently her and Tahiri at one point had beef, but I guess that wasn't the case. So she started mentioning names, and I was like, I remember there was a video girl, and not Tahiri, but there was a video girl, video vixen, who accused Joe Budden of also doing that to her, to where she lost her baby. I don't know if you guys remember that. Her name was Esther Baxter, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. Esther Baxter. And I remember this story because she actually did an interview with Bossip, and I'm going to play a little bit of it. She claimed he sat up there and DV'd her so badly that she ended up losing their daughter. Okay. And apparently she filed charges against him, but later dropped them to avoid negative publicity. Now, for some who try to say, why didn't you charge the man, put him in jail, whatever case may be, we clearly should know by now it's not that easy. It's not that easy. But she actually talks about it. And what triggered her to speak about it was Joe apparently did a song. You know what I'm saying? Joe apparently did a song that triggered her, and it was his point of view of their relationship, to where she had to, in her opinion, I guess, come out to talk about what really happened in her eyes. Because again, I got to keep saying allegedly, whatever the case may be. But she talks about it, and it's quite sick. It really is. So I'm going to actually play it. Thank you. You do remember that? I remember that story too. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Nene, my. Thank you. Yes, hit the like button. Hit the like button. So this is on Bossup's site. Shout out to Bossup. So I'm gonna play a little bit of it, and trigger warning because it may get you emotional. So trigger warning.
Appropriate with other women on Twitter. Basically, I mean, we got into an argument, and he, kind of just went into a rage and started throwing my stuff down the stairs, my clothes and shoes and everything down the stairs. He's telling me to get out, and I just went into another room and just closed the door, locked the door, and he didn't like that. He came over and kicked the door down, came into the room, grabbed me by my ankles and yanked me out of the bed multiple times, and just basically ended up choking me so I couldn't breathe, slamming me up against the door, like in the closet doors. I told him that if he didn't stop, I was going to call the police. So he, in an attempt to grab my phone from me, he threw me on the floor, wrestling with me, and ended up just throwing me on my back and grabbing me by my wrists and sitting on my stomach for half an hour while I was 3 months pregnant.
So I hemmed you up.
Okay. So y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard that, right? So this is literally how many years ago? 12 years ago. 12 years ago. So we have Esther who's saying what she said. We have Tahiri, where again, this is not her first time saying something. We have Rocky, who has claimed that there have been issues and what he did to her allegedly during that scene of Love and Hip Hop. And then, yes, this is where she's actually, if you guys want to listen to the whole thing, because at the end of the day, a lot of things I'm sure is triggering. The algorithm is also triggering too. But I got to play some of this stuff so we can really get into detail about why in the hell does Joe feel comfortable saying how sick someone is when I know he has to know and remember all of these accusations that he has against him. Okay, so that's another one. Now, do y'all remember her on Love and Hip Hop? That was Kaylin Garcia, if I'm not mistaken. She was also, first and foremost, he treated her like garbage, in my opinion, just even on the show, to the point where he was supposed to be in a relationship with her, said he was going to Tahiri, to the Dominican Republic, and she was talking about, what are you talking about? Like, where does that leave me? And he said, I know this is going to sound mean, but I really don't care how you feel about this. I'm still going to go. So there have definitely been signs, in my opinion, from seeing how he got down on Love and Hip Hop, that he definitely comes off interesting. I'll just say that. He definitely wouldn't be someone that I will want in my company consistently for too long. Because eventually, in my opinion, other sides of him is going to come out. Well, I think Kayla was on a show with Joe Budden. I forgot what the show was. I think it was one of those couples therapy shows. And I don't know if you remember, but he kept antagonizing Kaylin when she was just there laying by the pool, minding her own business. And Janice Dickinson was on that show. Remember Janice Dickinson, America's first top model? She kept claiming she was the first supermodel in the 70s. Well, she was there seeing their exchange, and she has said, look, I've been with men like that, and he's giving me the creeps. He's not treating that girl well, whatever the case may be. She even said that. And I feel like Kaylin has come out and said certain things before, but don't quote me on that. That's going to be a big allegedly, but I feel like she has mentioned something before about how Joe has treated her. So at the end, yeah, damn Joe. Yeah, oh wow. Yeah, they've been saying that for years. They have. If you go on YouTube and you just start looking up stuff, The Breakfast Club interviewed him about what Baxter said about him. Of course, I can't play a lot of that stuff, but you can definitely do your research. So when he was talking, I was like, hold the hell up. Now, here's the problem. He has no choice but to address it because, one, he has a huge platform, and two, apparently his relationship with Diddy on a business level. But it makes you wonder if why he deleted it. He claims there was another reason why he deleted it, because it was too short. Maybe he was trying to brush over it because he knows where this was possibly going to lead. Joe Budden is not stupid. He's not, like, at the end of the day, you bringing up something and saying someone is a lunatic and a piece of shit, and you have been accused of these things also, it's a problem. And I don't know if the gentleman that's in here that's actually a crew member said there's a difference between allegations and actual evidence. Well, here's the problem with that. Remember, Diddy had allegations for years. And people always wanted to say that because they're allegations is not true. Well, now we know that a lot of this stuff is true. So allegations, a lot of the time when there's smoke, there's fire. Because let's be all the way 100. Joe Budden recently has been able to become super successful outside of his beginning of his rap career. You know, he had that successful song in the beginning of his rap career, but he struggled for a good minute. Even Tahiri admitted that she was financially taking care of him at one point, paying for his haircuts and all stuff like that. So around the time that he was dealing with these women, he wasn't really Joe Budden podcast. He wasn't that guy. So the fact that I just don't understand what would be the incentive for these women to lie. You know what I mean? I can see, even though at the end of the day, I still can't see it, but I can see how someone can say that with a Diddy or people like that who have been deemed as successful and rich and wealthy nonstop for years, and people will try to say it's a money grab. But there were dark times for Joe Budden. He's even talked about this, from my understanding. He's talked about his substance abuse. He's talked about that stuff. So Tahiri didn't get Joe Budden podcast Tahiri, just like a lot of these women didn't. They got like kind of washed up rapper Joe Budden. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that one song was a hit song. It was a hit song. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so what reason would they have to lie, especially when they started accusing him years ago? You know, when, if anything, if most, he was just on Love and Hip Hop. At best, he was on Love and Hip Hop. You know, and so they were quiet. When you think about it, we haven't heard these accusations for years until he decided to speak on the video with Diddy. Let me see what you guys are saying. I'll be watching his commentary too. And here's the thing, you can't avoid a Joe Budden podcast situation at this point. He's one of the top dogs, him and Club Shay Shay. They're one of the, so to, like, honestly, there are times where, you know how you're playing a video on YouTube and how it'll automatically play another video after that? Joe Budden pops up on my videos. Club Shay Shay pops up on my videos. He is everywhere. You know what I mean? He is everywhere. So it's kind of like one of those things. It's very hard not to have a Joe Budden video pop up here or there. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Yeah. And you know what? Here's the thing. In all situations, sometimes that is the case. Sometimes that's not the case. But my thing is, Joe Budden at the time when he was being accused, he was not a top dog. He wasn't. He was not. Tahiri used to hold Joe down. I believe her. She sure did. She said she used to even pay for his haircuts. And I said, damn, that ninja couldn't afford a haircut at one point? Times was hard. Times were really hard. where she had to pay for his haircut and hold down that household? Hell to the no. Was it? Who has that song in their playlist? I'll wait. I don't have it in my playlist, but when I hear it, I have, been like, oh yeah, that was the banger. That was the song back in the day. And You Got Served played it in their finale dance battle. but it was, I want to say it was a top 10 hit. Girl, I don't know. That's taking us back. When was that? I'm about to say the early 2000s, maybe the late 90s, early 2000s. Joe, a failed rapper. His videos don't pop up for me. The algorithm knows better. Well, as a content creator, Nene, he definitely pops up for me, especially when I was doing the whole Kendrick Drake stuff and listening to the lyrics. They definitely talked about the Kendrick and Drake situation. Yes, pump it up. Pump it up. That song had a good beat. It did. Nene just don't like Joe. She just don't like Joe. And she a Taurus. So when she don't like nobody, she don't like that person. She don't care what they do. She just don't like them. Tell them, Nene, tell them. So yeah, so you guys, that's why I definitely, hey, Vanna, that's why I wanted to bring that up. Because I was like, pot, meat kettle. You have all of these women now who are coming out talking about what he did. So it makes you wonder, like, are Joe and Diddy the same monster? Are they? And is Joe next? Because at this point, it's kind of the same cycle that we constantly hear in this industry. You hear the rumors, then you start having women pop up ever so often about their story. And it continues to happen, and then it dies down, and then it happens again. Then the next thing you know, out of the blue, all of these accusations come tumbling down with proof, and literally just not a good thing. And honestly, what we're seeing is kind of the same pattern from a Diddy to a R. Kelly and so many others that literally had accusations and rumors, and then years later, that person finally got taken down. And when you think about it, I just find it interesting that all of these men who have these type of accusations against them, for some reason, end up becoming very successful in their field. Very successful in their field. So I often wonder, if you get to that untouchable, constantly looking like you're making money over money status, do you get that status because they have something on you? I don't know. Because I find that interesting that he definitely went from washed up rapper to now having one of the hottest podcasts out there. You know what I mean? Like, and he started off with that show on DJ Academics, which is another person we got to put into the situation. DJ Academics literally has had rumors about him allegedly for years too. And now shit is hitting the fan in his world. So it makes you wonder. It's okay if you're late. Replay. Joe Budden was already pissing me off with his Drake comments anyways. Y'all are a mess. The only reason why y'all are pro Drake, Jay, and Nene is because Drake is from Canada, Jay, and Nene because she feels like they done picked on poor Drake. And poor Drakey Drake has always been attacked in this industry. I don't give a shit. Kendrick set it off on his ass. I'm just saying. I think so. They're one and the same. Facts. Once I don't like you, there's no turning back. I'm stubborn. Yeah, that's a Taurus way. Diddy, Joe Budden, Dr. Dre, Busta Rhymes, a lot of them have been accused. Yeah, and you notice a lot of them are still very successful. Notice that, right? They're successful. They are successful. So it makes you wonder if they kind of put the bait out there and let them be successful so they can be used or whatever the case may be. And then when they get too big for their britches, as they say in the South, or they end up messing up, or they're just tired of them altogether, they put the proof out there. Team Drake, Team Kendrick, Team Drake, Team Kendrick. You already know what team I'm on. But no, in all honesty, I just think lyrically Kendrick shut it down. If Drake did it, I would have admitted that, even though I am from Cali. But that They Not Like Us, child, I was grooving to it. You know it's true, Jay. You know it's true. Listen, I'm always team light-skinned men because they rock with me. So, you see that? See that? And this don't have nothing to do with the lyrics. Nothing to do with the lyrics. Nothing to do with the rap battles or anything else. Strictly about how team light-skinned men and the fact that Drake is getting picked on in the industry. Y'all, I tell you, Alicia Honest, he sure did. He sure did. So with that, you guys, I know I'm getting off topic. We always do because this is like kitchen talk for us. So Misa, I don't know if you heard, decided to speak out in her own, I guess, passive aggressive way. I'm also light-skinned too. We got to stick together. She says that she's heartbroken that Casey must relive the horror. She said her heart goes out to her. I'm pretty much paraphrasing. I'm just going to sum it up. I know exactly how she feels. And through my empathy, it has triggered my own trauma. Your own trauma, Misa? The trauma where Gene allegedly said that Diddy served you up so badly that you had to pretty much get up under a car where he couldn't get to you, allegedly. I find it interesting that Misa is still protecting Diddy. I find it interesting that she's still protecting him. And I'm wondering if she has signed something to where she can never speak on him. I'm wondering. Because it's quite interesting that she definitely was before all of them. Of course, she didn't mention any names about her trauma, but a lot of people can put two and two together. Like, why even mention that if you're not trying to say that your own trauma is similar to Cassie's trauma? Because maybe because it was from the same man. Maybe. So she decides to put that out there. And she says at the bottom, their father needs help, and I'm praying that he truly does the personal work and receives it. Misa, if what Gene Deal said is true about what happened to you almost 30 years ago, he don't want no help. How were you with him back in the early 90s? And apparently that happened to you. And here we are in 2024 and you're saying that the father needs help. He don't want the help because he's been getting away with it for years. And honestly, let's be real. You guys have allowed him to get away with it for years, which makes me wonder, maybe Misa's scared of him. Do y'all think Misa's scared of him? Does she fear? I didn't think she was fearful of him, especially after when Justin got that DUI and she was like, I'm not about to be silent anymore. I don't know. Maybe she's scared. Maybe Diddy has something on her. Who knows? But then, we're not done. We're not done. Shaka Khan's daughter shares a comment under Diddy's apology video. And baby, I wasn't trying to find it. So the Shade Room, shout out to the Shade Room and the Gossip Cities and stuff who be getting this stuff. They got staff members who be waiting for stuff like this, baby. She pretty much says, I'm glad this is happening to you. You got in my mother's face and publicly disrespected her, yelling and screaming like a lunatic when my little brother tried to get you out of my mother's face. Your security jumped my 19-year-old brother. These may be your dark days, but I'm singing and dancing, watching your demise. Shaka Khan, isn't it great, Mom? So, Diddy disrespected Shaka Khan. And I don't know if Shaka Khan is old enough to be his mother. I know Shaka Khan, I would have to say she is old enough to be his mother. I feel like Shaka Khan was born in the early 50s. if Diddy was born in the late 60s, she would have been a young mother, but still a mother. So, but again, let Gene Deal tell it, allegedly, Diddy has put hands on his own mother. So I don't put it past him to disrespect elders, anyone at this point. So she decided to pretty much put her 2 cents in the situation and say, I'm happy this is happening to you. So yeah. So, and apparently finding out some more information, speaking to people, and then all of a sudden it started popping up. Diddy can't say Cassie's name, which is why I guess he didn't say it. I guess in the settlement, they can't mention each other. So he can't say Cassie's name, but for damn sure he could have said, I apologize to my victim. I don't see what was wrong with that. Or I apologize to everyone I've hurt. Or he could have been, specific without saying her name. Get the hell up out of here. That it was just not sincere. It wasn't. So let me see. I know I like you. You know what? Y'all a mess. Misa needs to come out with her story. Tell us about Diddy and Wolf. Yeah, she definitely do. Because everybody keeps speculating. Because one thing about Diddy got strong genes. His kids with Kim Porter, they look just like him. Now, interesting enough, though, I will say the youngest girl who's biracial doesn't really look like him so far. And then the other girl that was born around the time the twins was born, she looks like her mom. So she looks like her mom. But Justin he don't look like Diddy at all. But when someone did a comparison of Misa and Wolf, that looked like a great blend to me. A great blend. I truly wonder if if that is the case. I don't know. I think Diddy has an obsession with racially ambiguous features, and maybe because he saw that Justin was about to be a pretty boy, he embraced them just like he embraced Quincy. I don't know about that, because I'm like, why would you want to raise somebody else's son, allegedly? But to me, Justin has nothing that looks like Diddy. Nothing. The eyes, the lips, the nose, none of that. None of it. She's scared about the cash flow stopping. But see, here's my thing, though. She's been in the game so long, and if she's been getting so much money, I hope she has been saving, and she has been, because I think she still is like brand ambassador. She does something for MCM. She's been in the fashion game for a minute. Diddy came for Shaka. He sure did, allegedly, according to her daughter. Someone hold my earrings after he used Shaka's music to launch Mary's career. Right. The audacity. Right. All right. Diddy just out here disrespecting everyone. Yeah, because he truly feels like he's untouchable. He has an ego, which is why when he was mentioning God, look, and I'm so sick and tired of these celebrities trying to say, oh, he needs prayer and this and this and that and that. You know what's so crazy? And I think what annoys me about that is that I'm sure these people who are saying lift him up in prayer and all of this stuff, I'm sure they have been hearing the Diddy rumors. If not, they possibly even have firsthand knowledge of it. You know what I mean? That's what's sickening to me. You have firsthand knowledge of this probably. You know what I'm saying? Or at least heard about it. Then all of a sudden you get on his video apologizing or responding to it saying he needs prayer, or people want to speak on it saying he needs prayer. Well, did y'all go to Cassie's IG page? Because I believe Cassie has an IG page. Did y'all give her the same prayers? Did y'all say y'all was going to lift her up in prayer? So this is how sick people are, in my opinion, and how they still feel like Diddy has a hold on them, because I'm thinking, where was that support for her? Where was that support for her? But you all of a sudden want to say you need to focus on God and pray, and I'm praying for your healing. I'm a firm believer that some people just can't be helped. Some people just can't be saved. I think Diddy is one of them. After he did that video, I wouldn't be shocked if he went back in the house wherever he was and continued to do the same behavior we've been hearing him do for years. Oh, dang, Diddy ain't going to be alone in hell. You try to say? Oh, yeah, it was marriage boot camp. Okay, so was it marriage boot camp or couples therapy or something like that? Yeah. So, yeah, you guys. So I had to bring this because I was just like, Joe Budden, look, what you saying is 100. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes when you sit up there and you crucify someone about an incident or something that you have been accused of, good luck. To me, it was only a matter of time. It was on, and I feel like him saying to Tahiri, "You're this gold digging, blah 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 blah," is a slap in the face. Because if she was holding him down, paying for his stuff when he didn't have nothing, how is she a gold digger? How is she a gold digger? A gold digger, once they see you ain't got no money, is gonna move on. Tahiri spent most of her youth dealing with Tahiri. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I know this. Every accusation that he has had, he's denied. But Diddy denied his too until a video came out. But again, do you guys think any of these women are lying? Do you feel like that they're just lying? And if so, why are they lying? Especially when you can go and Google and do some research and see that they've been talking about this for years before Joe even had a podcast. And then, final information we got, Diddy has another lawsuit. This time by a woman who's not afraid, to show her face, but she also has the complexion for protection. Okay? Yeah, I have a feeling he really about to go down with this one. She definitely has come out. She is allegedly a model. I don't know if she still is, but she was a model then. And she's accusing him too. Yeah. Y'all, let me tell you something. I'm just waiting for the moment that Diddy's going to be in cuffs. I'm waiting for that moment. I'm waiting to see if that is going to happen. Because, baby, like at this point, what else is there to say? She says she has DNA evidence. She saved the clothes. Child, is she a Monica Lewinsky? She done saved the clothes? How many years was this? How many years ago was this? Y'all pull it up. How many years ago was this alleged event? Because that is quite interesting. Let me see. It's over. He's not making it out of 2024. You got a point. I don't think he's going to be able, if they do arrest him, he does not give me vibes that he will be able to make it in jail. And what I mean by that is typically weak men who do the DV, they scared to go to prison. They really are. So, at the end of the day, and not to mention, he's too much of a freaking narcissistic piece of shit that he wouldn't be able to just be irrelevant and no longer cared about in prison. And honestly, at this point, I have a feeling they're about to empty his bank accounts, what money he has. I don't think he was ever a billionaire. They're about to empty his bank accounts, which means it's probably going to affect his children too, unless he played it smart and there's certain trust funds and things like that they can't touch with him. But I really think at this point, they are about to tap out everything from Diddy. He's going to be R. Kelly. He's going to be broke. He's going to be broke, hoping that people would just do him a favor for legal reasons and everything else because he was paying them for years. So, yeah, I definitely feel, I see what you're saying on that. I don't think he's going to be able to handle jail. Even Gene Deal said that. Gene Deal said it. He will have fun in jail. He can have as many freak offs as he wants. Plenty of men. Yeah, but see, that's the problem, though. That's the problem. I think with Diddy, and this is my opinion. Okay, so this girl, Crystal McKinney, she actually, this happened back in 2003, you guys. 2003, this happened. So she held on to the clothes for over 20 years. Interesting. Over 20 years. Okay. Yep. Saying this happened in 2003. But let me get back to what I was going to say about Diddy. I think one of the reasons why Diddy is the way that he is because he's never felt comfortable coming out about who he really is as far as what his real preference is. In my opinion, I think his real preference, he's gay. That's my opinion, though. I'm not saying he is, but that's my opinion. If everything is true, I think that's what it is. Because when people can't truly be who they are, who they want to be, because again, hip hop, even still to this day, is very anti-gay. It's just, it is what it is. Even if they do it in the background, it's still publicly, they claim they don't accept it. So I think that that's the reason why, on top of ego and everything else, that he has the demons he has. I personally don't think Diddy was ever that guy with a lot of swag. I think he was very awkward when it came to women and men. But I think when it comes to the jail situation, I don't know how much of that would happen in jail, because I think a lot of the times Diddy did the things that he did for control reasons. It's about more of control with him. In my opinion, I don't even think he enjoys freaky tales anymore. I don't think he enjoys it anymore. He has tapped out probably all the things that he can do. I think he's bored with it at this point, and it's just a sense of control for him. It's a sick, twisted mind of him thinking it's just a control game at this point. Now, I don't know. I definitely don't see him being Big Bubba in jail and men gonna be scared of him in there. So I personally feel like, if anything, he gonna end up turning around washing someone else's drawers, if you know what I mean. 50 Cent also was doing that documentary. It got sold to Netflix. Never beef with 50. It ends bad for you. Yeah, don't ever beef with him. He's the type where it once you beef with him, it's forever. It's forever. Like, definitely forever. You know what I mean? But again, in these type of situations, you better hope and pray that your own hands are clean, because it's about exposing everyone at this point. You know, I wonder when the documentary is going to drop. I wonder, because, you know, people nowadays have a short-term memory. So if he's going to drop it, I hope within the next couple of months it's dropped. Because after that, it's probably going to be another scandal that's going to come out. Because one thing I will say that Joe Budden actually made a valid point on is that, because he was talking about Christian Combs coming for 50 in a video that I was hearing while I was cooking. Like I said, the video popped up. He said that the best thing that happened to Diddy before this video came out was the Kendrick and Drake beef, because no one was thinking about Diddy at that time. That whole back and forth rap beef really took the attention off of Diddy, and Christian Combs decided to bring the attention back to Diddy and talk his shit. And then next thing you know, that video came out. We need to have a watch party. I wish we could. I really wish that we could have watch parties on that. I'm gonna have to check and see if that's an option like on Patreon. But we can't do it on YouTube. Like having a watch party would be quite interesting. I've seen channels though who actually are like watching it while they're on live. I wonder though if they get like flagged because of that. I'm assuming they get flagged and maybe they just don't care. But yeah, I would love to do a watch party on that. 50 Cent beefs with Until You Gone. Look what happened to until wait a minute. 50 Cent was beefing with Michael K. Williams with Until You Gone. He was beefing with Michael K. Williams. You talking about Michael K. Williams, Omar from The Wire, Michael K. Williams? When was he beefing with him? Child, I am confused. Christian inherited his daddy's rap abilities. Yeah. But apparently, let them tell us, some people like some of his stuff. I guess, child. But I do know that he brought the attention back on his daddy, and then the next thing you know, that video came out. So he probably should have shut the hell up. So that's what he should have done. But yeah, so you guys, I want to continue this conversation in the comment section, because at the end, make a Discord. Okay, I'll look into that, Jay. Yeah, he had beef with Omar from The Wire because he was supporting Supreme in them. Oh my gosh. See, that's the one thing though I can't do with Diddy. Just because they friends with somebody that you don't like, why are they public enemy number one to you? Like, I don't know. That's why I say he be sometimes on his petty for no apparent reason. Like, unless Michael K. Williams actually said something like in diss 50, who cares who he's friends with? You know what I'm saying? I don't think Michael K. Williams was actually like real tight with 50. I didn't even know they even knew each other like that. So I don't know. But yeah, definitely you guys continue the conversation below, because I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. What do you think about Joe Budden's accusations? You know, at this point, we're saying it's accusations, although Esther did apparently put images out there. I was looking for them. I couldn't find them. I don't know if they removed them or the fact that it happened so many years ago, like it just doesn't pop up anymore. But allegedly, she posted pictures of the DV situation and her scars and stuff, allegedly. So what do you guys think? Do you think Joe Budden did the things that he's been accused of? Do you think that this is also the start of his downfall? You know what I mean? Do you think that's the case too? Because at this point, I feel like everyone is about to be exposed. You know, which I found interesting. Also, another person that I wonder if he's next, Charlemagne the God. We not going to pretend that Jessica Reed situation is still not lingering out there. That girl has been interviewed multiple times. She even got interviewed at least once on Tasha K. I'm sorry, the way that girl was crying, the way that girl seemed like she was completely traumatized, y'all be the judge of that. But I find it interesting that these people, again, they got to do their job. So at the end of the day, they got to do their jobs. If they're doing radio, if they're doing podcasting, people want to know their opinions on hot topics. But damn, Joe Budden. Now, I would like to see if he's going to mention what Rocky said. I wonder if he's going to mention what Rocky said and speak on what Rocky said. Everybody can't be lying, Joe, especially when at the time you was dating these women, you wasn't even really popping like that. You know what I mean? Love and hip hop wasn't making you that much money. From my understanding, especially that first season, you don't really get paid that much. 50 Cent going for Hove next. He hates him for some reason. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I always say I'm going to be honest with you. That's my saying, y'all. Just like you know is my saying. I've heard while 50 Cent is petty as hell, on a business level, I've heard nothing but good things about 50 Cent. I have not heard that 50 Cent has effed over people when it comes to their money, things like that. I have never heard that about that man. I've never heard that about him. Now, interesting enough, he has also had allegations like that on him as well. Y'all remember those stories? Damn it, you done had Diddy, Joe Budden, and even 50 has had those type of accusations. They all had those. But one thing about it is that on the business end, I've never heard anything bad about him. And I don't know, maybe somewhere in there he doesn't respect Jay-Z and how he does business. Maybe that has a lot to do with it. You know what I mean? Maybe that has a lot to do with it. So that could be the case. That really could be the case, but I don't know. I'm just speculating. My hope isn't next because the catalog is too good for me to say I'll cancel him. I'll just listen privately. Girl, you got R. Kelly fans who still listen to him. They don't care. You know what I mean? They do not care. And I can see how hard it could be. Luckily, though, the artists that I have admired my whole life have not been canceled in that way and have done some horrific things. And the ones who were accused of it, they were found not guilty. So, like Michael Jackson, for example. But again, people have their opinion on Michael Jackson as well. But in the legal court system, he was found not guilty. But yeah, so Meek Mill unfollowed Puff. They said Meek Mill unfollowed Puff. They said Young Miami unfollowed Puff. That don't mean no, just because they unfollowed, that don't mean that they still not dealing with him. Hell, for all we know, Young Miami could have been at Diddy's house while she unfollowed him just to sit up there and help her brand. That don't mean she not dealing with the man. You know what I mean? That don't mean she not dealing with him. I can't listen to R. Kelly. You can't listen to R. Kelly what? Because of what he did? So what if allegedly that's something that Jay-Z did? Where does it draw the line? You know what I mean? Or were you even an R. Kelly fan in the first place? Because I can see how if you weren't an R. Kelly fan in the first place, it's so easy to be like, well, screw him. I ain't listening to. I didn't really like him like that anyways. You know? So maybe that's the case. But I'm grateful that so far the people I've admired in my life didn't have those type of accusations, because I can see how difficult it could be, especially when music is therapeutic for a lot of people. It's healing for a lot of people. It brings back a lot of good memories, bad memories, whatever the case may be. So I can see how it's difficult. So I'm not gonna, sit up there and necessarily judge on that, because I get it. It was easy for me to be like, oh, okay, we cancel R. Kelly, fine, because I literally never listened to him like that. I wasn't a hardcore listener. I think the only album I bought from R. Kelly was The Chocolate Factory, and hell, he had so many freaking albums before that I never bought. By the time of New of R. Kelly, he had the allegation. Wait, what you saying, Jay? R. Kelly music is mostly about freaky tales. Hard to hear him sing that knowing that he... Right, but again, you don't know what a lot... I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm telling y'all, if we really tapped into a lot of people's personal lives and what they probably do that we are not aware of, you probably wouldn't be able to listen and watch most of the stuff that's out there, because we really don't know. We really do not know. Like, that's the thing. We don't know. I think we are truly in scary times where you would probably be shocked that a lot of people do some insane things. You know what I mean? That will completely turn your stomach and you wouldn't be aware of it. And they've probably made some of the best art that you have absolutely loved your entire life. I meant by the time I knew of R. Kelly, he had allegations on him. I did not. Oh, okay, yeah. Which, good. Because by then you was like, I don't care about R. Kelly anyways. He's not of my generation. Ignorance is bliss. What I don't know, I can't judge. That's what a lot of people saying. But at the same time, there's a lot of people who know stuff too, and they still make it seem like ignorance is bliss. They know they not ignorant anymore, but they don't care. But with that being said, you guys, let's continue the conversation below. Please like, share, and subscribe. I want to know your opinion on Joe Budden and how these allegations are coming back out. I want to know if you guys, what do you guys have to say about Misa speaking out, Shaka Khan's daughter speaking out, in this new lawsuit? Baby, I feel like she may be the one to bankrupt Diddy. She may be the one to bankrupt Diddy. Because please believe me, she got the protection, okay? This literally could easily be the modern day O.J. Simpson and Nicole Brown, except that, of course, Nicole was unalived. But this may be the O.J. situation for him. This woman may tap him out, especially if she has DNA evidence. Ugh. Thank you. Not judging people that still listen to R. Kelly because I'm going to a Chris Brown concert. Hey, look, at the end of the day, you do you. You do what you feel at the end of the day. I mean, Chris Brown, a lot of people had their opinion on that Chris Brown situation, though, but that's a whole nother live. And honestly, they're not of my generation. Chris Brown. So to me, it's like, it is what it is. Oh my God, my Wi-Fi is tripping. It's okay. We about to end. You can do replay gang. So with that being said, you guys, thank you guys for coming. Please like, please share, subscribe. We definitely have positive energy over here. We keep it funny and live over here, but then we also have serious topics we talk about as well. So like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on my next video. Toodles.